Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LowesyPC, and welcome back to War in the Pacific versus Invictus. So, it has been a wee while since my last recording of this, so I am not 100% sure of what is happening. I have a general gist, but let's kind of see what goes on. I hope that everybody is doing well, and that you have had a fantastic few weeks. Again, I apologize for the lack of content. As mentioned in the last video, life has been very busy, I think is the best way to kind of describe it. And that takes priority. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. So we have got a sub chaser trying to attack is this an old US sub? I think so. Not really getting much damage on it. It's got a bit of near misses, but nothing really too much happening. But at least our sub chasers are working and they're doing what they need to do, which is okay. Better than nothing. Better than nothing. Now I know that we've had some not good days in February, so we need to hope that we've got some victories around the corner, because you know at the moment things have been a bit shite. It's the best way to kind of describe it. Trying to bomb Batavia. Doesn't seem like much is really happening there. Trying to bomb the airfield to try and see if we can damage any aircraft in Batavia before we kind of come in with our landings over there. Also bombing Port Moresby. Managed to damage an aircraft. Okay, not too bad. So that's okay. Better than nothing. Better than nothing. You know, we'll take our little victories here and there when we can get them, and see how things go. But yes, it has been a wee while since the last what you call it. Oh, okay. We got one of our destroyers. Managed to do a little bit of damage to the sub. Not a lot. You know, I think it's just bringing some leaks, but you know, it's better than nothing. Because this is a submarine that is actually in the port of Kuching, so back off. It's the best way to kind of respond to that ship. And again, we see it here. This is another one, I think, a different one. So you can tell that Invictus knows that we've got stuff over here, and is trying his best to, you know, use his subs to cause as much problems as possible. The fact that we've managed to get a few hits there is pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with that. However, we know, as you can see, that destroyer was out of anti-submarine weaponry, which is not great. But we'll keep an eye on that. This is kind of one of the problems that I've had. I've been relatively slow with a lot of my stuff and kind of moving things around. And it has allowed Invictus to react to that, and go, okay, well, you know, Lowsy is doing this. There's a load of ships here. Let me send a few submarines over there, and that sort of stuff is what is kind of causing us huge amount of problems. And yeah, it's not great for us really. So it's one of those things that we definitely want to try our best to keep moving. Just the problem is with that though is I don't want to fuck up. Like again, Oosthaven arguably is where I've kind of tried to be bold and quick, and it's gone, you know, tits up basically, which isn't good. But yeah. Okay. Why did I send Nels during the day over Pamlavang? That seemed like a bad idea. That's pretty good, though. So, Betty Bombers there actually did a really good amount of damage to, like, to the Allied aircraft. It didn't actually destroy any, which is a bit of annoying. But we can see that this is where Invictus has got most of his kind of attack aircraft, whether it's bombers or the Swordfish torpedo bombers that have been causing us some problems recently. So to get a bit of damage on them is pretty good. I'll take that. You might have to kind of keep up with that. Still bombing Clark Field. I don't know how you guys still have supply. There seems to be some units moving from Clark Field, maybe to Patan, which is interesting. So, bombing over Singapore. Again, stuff I should have been doing a long time ago. And again, this is part of me learning, more competitive. What do we call it? More competitive War in the Pacific, because I play with OCB and I love the games with OCB. Me and him have got a great campaign going, but we're both not particularly super clued up on how to do things the way that other creators and other players of War in the Pacific have been doing for years. So for example, when I see that I'm taking some aircraft losses, particularly, say, over Singapore or places like Batavia or Clark Field, I'm like, okay, I'm going to... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this is going to do shit tons of damage, I think. Yeah. Actually, not as much damage as I thought. The airfield is pretty fucked, but it's not as much damage as I actually thought it would do. This is a big raid by Invictus. He knows where my airfield is now in Thailand, which is rather frustrating. There's a huge amount of hurricanes. This is the British, hurricane force that is kind of going to hang around Burma for a lot of time. And they are pretty good. Now, luckily, we do seem to have a lot of 1C, well, a selection of 1Cs here. And that's kind of good for us, because 1Cs are the ones that are armed with 12.7, so 50 caliber machine guns, compared to the Nates and the 1Bs, which are still carrying 30 caliber machine guns. Now, that is all that the Hurricanes have. The 2Bs and the 2As, they also only have 3.3 machine guns, but the difference is they have loads of them. If I remember rightly, the 2A has 8, and the 2B maybe has 12. I don't know in this game if they've got 8 or 8 or 12 or whatever, but they do have a lot. So it is one of these things that is a bit of a problem. Now, we've got our Oscars getting into the bombers, which is pretty good. The Blenheim 1s, if we shoot them down, great, but it's the Blenheim 4s that we want to get. The Blenheim 4s and the Fortresses. The Fortresses are obviously going to be the ones that cause the most damage, but the Blenheim 4s, the Allies can't replace them until May. So, any aircraft shot down here is going, particularly in bomber situation, is going to affect Invictus more than it is if I'm going to lose a couple of Oscars and things like that. This is where there is this interesting balance that we haven't really talked about. Oh, fuck, a lot of them got through. How much damage are they going to be doing here? Actually, it didn't look like it was as much as I thought. No, not really. We lost one Anne, and we lost a Nate being shot down. So not as good as, as maybe it could have been for Invictus. So, as I was saying, there is an interesting balance that we haven't really talked about much in this game, which is the difference, or the advantage / disadvantage of both sides. And that comes down, one of those things is it comes down to air power. Now, as I am sure you're aware, in real life, the Ally industrial capacity, and particularly the American industrial capacity of the Second World War, was incredible. And this is reflected in the game. By the end of the game, or the end of the campaign, the amount of stuff that the Americans are producing, me trying to upkeep with it will be impossible. However, what we have the advantage with at the beginning is that we produce a lot more and can produce a lot more than the Allies do. It's part of the Europe First idea that the Allies took on. And this is best reflected in things like the Blenheims. So the Blenheim 4s are a pretty decent, frontline bomber. Decent bomb capacity, decent speed, decent defensive armament, etc. However, the problem that they have is, as I say, they don't get any replacements until May. So you have about 4 or 5 squadrons of Blenheim 4s that appear about now, which clearly Invictus is trying to use, but he won't get replacement aircraft for them until May. Now, as I say, it's much more expensive then for him to lose a Blenheim than it is for me to lose an Oscar. There is a difference, though, which is that the Allies, even now, are training a lot more pilots than we are as the Japanese. That is something that we will struggle with, and we want to try our best to try and make sure that we are, kind of protecting and covering. So there is this interesting balance at the early part of the game. Yes, we can lose aircraft. The problem is we can't really lose that many pilots. And that is just kind of something that we really, really have to be careful with, and kind of keep an eye on as we go. So, it will be, as I say, intriguing to kind of see what happens here. Now, these Blenheims are kind of, kind of bold. We shot quite a few of them down and they didn't turn back. I'm hoping that we did shoot as many down as it seemed. Because again, the fact that Invictus doesn't get them for a few months, if we thin them out, great. That's exactly what we want. So we will see. Okay, Air Ops PM. Let's see what is going to go on and take place here. A bit of sightings and things like that. Some bad weather, which is pretty good for us. Yes and no. Recon aircraft. Okay, some Wildebeest, but there is some Tojos here, which are armed with cannons and are hopefully going to tear these Wildebeest a new one. Fuck me. 3 still managed to get through. Luckily, they seem to be dropping bombs, and they missed, so that's not too bad. There's more Wildebeest coming, but now there is 3 of our KI-44s. And again, these guys are actually armed with 20mm cannons. Okay, I don't like the fact that 4 of them got through. Another bomb got... Okay. Not terrible. Not great. Make me feel happy. Sink a sub. Ooh. That should be the end of the day. It'll be ground attack now. So, bombardment attack at Kukon. Yeah, that's fine. Doing what it needs to do. Attacking Kangsheng. Okay, this is Loyang. There is a lot of Japanese cores here. Let's see how we get on with this. Okay, we actually did do quite a bit of casualties to the Japanese, to the Chinese, sorry. They've got a lot of troops there, but again, this is kind of us trying to break through to get towards Nanyang. Deliberate attack at Malay Ballet, and we succeed. Huzzah! See, there is some success. Units retreated, although it does mean that they're kind of all grouping up at Sayagan, or however you pronounce that. But yeah, pretty good for us there. And a deliberate attack against the Lark Battalion, which somehow is not dead, and it's going to probably be the same up here at Tarakan. Still, somehow, they're holding out. Maskar, or Makassar, Finally, we've got another bit of capturing going on. And a shock attack at Jehobaru. Oh, this is an allied shock attack. Okay, interesting. Wow, this is bold by Invictus. So I'm very interested here. What he's trying to do there? I'm wondering if if he's trying to use this as a bit of a recon mission. But this is a Lowsy kind of level of fuck up here. 1,300 casualties reported. I mean, again, perhaps what he's trying to do here is, create disruption and issues. But this is what we're going to have to deal with when we attack Singapore. We are going to have to deal with that initial shock attack. So that's why something that we have been trying to do with Singapore is group all the troops together at Jehobaru, make sure everyone's unpacked and ready to go, and then we're going to hit Singapore in one go with all 70,000 troops to try and make sure that we don't we don't suffer as badly as we could. So yeah, I'm a bit intrigued, to say the least, by what Invictus has done there. There's clearly some reason behind it, but still doesn't make it any less weird and confusing to me. Okey-doke. Because we still got stuff on the way down as well, so... Oh. Because everything down here should really switch into combat mode. They can't rebuild. That's annoying. I'm trying to see if there's any divisions we can rebuild. About 30th. Nope. Sorry, I'm a little bit sniffly today. I apologise. Okay, the 11th is on its way, so we'll be able to make the 5th. Yeah, I'm just a little bit curious. Now, obviously, fatigue and disruption is a little bit high there for our peeps. I want that maybe down, so we'll give them a day, and obviously we're waiting for some other stuff to turn up. Morale is nice and high. Our lowest morale is 48 from the 25th Army. That's not very good. Most of them have got wow, the 25th Army's got more than it's needed of TOE. And then again, fatigue, highest is just about 30. Okay. So again, we'll give them a day to see what they kind of do. I mean, we could absolutely just push the 9th Indian back into the ocean. Or back into Singapore. But I'm kind of chilled to let them just die here. Very weird. Very weird. By Invictus, honestly. Don't get it. I genuinely do not get what he's trying to do there. It's odd. Very odd. Okay. These guys need to get on the move. How are we doing with this lot? They are loading supplies at the moment. Okay. I'm hoping they load them relatively quickly, because we need those supplies on there as soon as possible. Okay. Now then, let us move up. Try and capture some of Salib Island. Now, what we can do, I'm sure we've got this Claude's there. There's some Dina's there. Let's move. Actually, what's their range? The range is 11. Okay, so transfer to base. Transfer to Makassar. And select target. Just keep an eye on Surabaja. I always call it Sarah Jabbar and I get told off by XYZ, but it's Surabaja. Right. We need to withdraw that. I know that it's not as good as what the way I've done it there. I should have done it that way, but oh well. What you gonna do? Hey, not a lot to do. Hey. Okay. Ah, fuck yeah. Alright, I remember what went wrong there. There's so much stuff that I'm doing slightly wrong, and it's causing me a huge amount of problems. Right, set home port, turn to Revolve. Same with you. Because they're not being able to offload stuff properly, which is a pain in the ass. Okay. So we'll sort those out when they return. I'm not 100% sure if there's too much more that I want us to be doing. I mean, the job of these guys is kind of stick in and carry on doing what they're doing. I think would be generally okay. There's a lot of ships in Haiphong. I didn't realize that. Okay. Nanyang troops have arrived. Good. So let's get these guys to also start bombarding. Just to see what is there. In Loyang, you guys can also bombard for a little bit. I like how there's... Oh, they're AT guns. Fuck, I was like... Oh yeah, there's guns there, but they're AT guns. Whoopsie daisy. Now, there's the 110th Division. Why is that not moved up? Interessant. Very interessant. So we also need to clear out this unit, whatever the fuck that is, because then we finally have our rail network secured. And we can maybe start looking at pushing towards Changsha, which is quite a big point for us to kind of capture of Invictuses. Yeah, 21st Division kind of has to stay there because Shanghai needs shit tons of guys supplying it. Okay, I think for the most part everything is pretty good. A lot of stuff that required rebuilding has arrived here. So let's set these guys to not combat, rest. So, yeah, you can see that the TOE for these guys, they need a lot more troops. But now, hopefully, with rest and resupply, given the amount of supplies that are in Manila, they should pretty easily get that, which will be nice. Yeah, we can then kind of go from there. I am curious. It does seem that there are units pulling back from Invictus there. There's also no supplies here, which is worrying. We maybe move some supplies. What supplies we got down here? 42,000, so there should be supplies on the move. We'll keep an eye on that and see what happens over the next few days. But there is a lot there. Right. Okay, so let's move these. The 15th Naval Guard Unit, yes. It said it could use a little more, but... and let us go and capture let's go capture Bolea. Because that would be useful. They're going down to Mandang to help us to... Wait, is there actually anything on there? Oh yeah, no there is. They're also on Do Not Unload, which is a bit stupid because they should be offloading. Okay, so we will leave it here and send this back over to Invictus and see what he decides to do with it. See what he plans to cause, what problems he plans to cause me. Okay, you can cancel load of suppliers and get moving. Hopefully, as I say, we can keep a bit of momentum. And, you know, push forward. We've got a little bit of fighting going on in Oosthaven, trying to break out of Oosthaven as best we can. But yeah, we'll see what kind of goes on. According to our recon, there's 10 enemy units. A lot, though. Any decent signal intelligence? Not really. No. Nothing too exciting. There is some stuff in Nome, which is a little bit worrying. So we will have to see about that. Oh, let's just have a quick look at our industry, actually, particularly our air industry. More on RD air, actually. Anything being researched yet? Still no, because we're just not doing this properly. Yeah, we're kind of fucking things up. But at least we're starting to produce more Oscars, which is good. How's the engine repairing going? It's starting to get up there a little bit more. We'll keep an eye on things and see how things go. Right, so we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Have a very, very good day, and I hope you enjoy content coming back onto the channel. I cannot promise that it will be as regular as it was before, but we will try our best to make it that way. Okay, so next day, let's see how things decide they want to go from this one. So, as you can already see, we seem to have some issues with Rabul, which is never good, and we see some bases being taken from us and the allies, so intriguing start so far. Okay, so let's see what happens over the night. I'm hoping not too much is the hope. One of our submarines spotting an enemy. I can never. Technically it's a mine layer, but I'm always convinced it's more like it's more like a frigate. It's got good or at least decent anti-submarine, you know, and in turn the Australians do get quite a few of them, so they're pretty useful for the Aussies. And I always find it very intriguing to deal with. One of our subs spotting something up near, only a yard patrol, annoyingly, up near Vancouver. Up near Vancouver Island, to be more precise. And seemingly not too much else going on in terms of shipborne things. So now we've got some of our aircraft doing flights, particularly those doing flights over Java. Let's have a look and see what they spot and what they see, and etc, etc. Some Nels coming through on Batavia, doing limited bombing, taking some damage from flak. Nothing too significant, but you know, still rather annoying and rather frustrating. And again, you know, not really much happening at night, so we get through night quickly for this day, which is always good. Night can sometimes seem to drag on and on and on and on. I still, you know, please, someone let me know in the comments why it takes so long for processing to happen during night, whereas during the day it seems to happen no problem. So here's something interesting. Submarines catching enemy cargo ships, light cargo ships, albeit, but you know, it's success. You know, we don't get many of those nowadays. So I'm definitely happy to take some of that success. Let's see what else happens with our aircraft and our flights and so on and so forth. Mostly just spotting things, lots of submarines about, which we want to make sure that we do deal with, and a lot of bad weather by the looks of it. Sweeps of Dutch aircraft over Oosthaven, you know, that absolute clusterfuck. And some Nels that try to bomb Pamela Bang being sent back, and the same with Betty Bombers trying to bomb Batavia. So not ideal, really, there. So we'll have to have a look at what we want to do with the aircraft there. Some bombing near Molmine, some casualties, but nothing really significant. Bombing near Ishang, which is normally pretty good for us. You know, it normally causes a fair amount of casualties. Some sweeps, and then a deeper sweep where we end up spotting and catching some P-38s. So this, again, as mentioned before, it gives us a real understanding that Invictus is trying to fortify places like Burma, or he's expecting us to really hit Burma hard, which, you know, we will eventually, hopefully, maybe at some point. I don't know. No, yeah, we will try and get round to Burma at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later. And it makes sense that, you know, if I'm going to be coming there with my, particularly my army aircraft, then P-38 Lightnings are going to be much better than them. You know, P-38s are, you know, just as good as Zeros in this game. So they'll make more than a match for my Oscars. But what it does suggest to me is that Invictus is not fortifying or using as many aircraft in places like Port Moresby, or at least he's kind of using the Kitty Hawks and Warhawks that the Americans and the Allies have. Kitty Hawks being the Australian version of the Warhawk, which, okay, yeah, fine, you know, they're still good aircraft, but being the fact that I should be able to use Zeros and, you know, even Oscars there, I should be able to get air superiority when it comes to dealing with Port Moresby, and in turn, if we get that air superiority over Port Moresby, it will allow us to have a much better, you know, chance of taking that base, and in turn allows us to start really strangling Australia. And then, you know, we know that unless Invictus is going to go straight through the islands and create huge, you know, supply lines for himself, we know he's kind of got to go there. So that'll be intriguing. So ground combat throughout, nothing super significant, although the Lark Battalion, I think it was being destroyed there. And then a fight up just outside of Oosthaven, going our way, but not quite finishing, which is a little bit frustrating. It's always good if we get those finished. And a bombardment attack of Tarakan, and again, that doesn't look like it's quite over yet, which, again, is frustrating. Some bases expanding, and then that is the end of the combat turn, when the game decides it wants to do the end of the combat turn. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So, we'll have a little bit of a look around, see what we need to move around. And what we want to do, and I also just want to have a quick look at something, particularly over in Singapore. You know, make sure the units are getting themselves in place to fight at Singapore. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now, just a little bit of a heads up, there might be a little sound weirdness in a moment. This is the second time recording this part of the voiceover. Very professional, I know, but for some reason it completely bugged out before. So hopefully this is absolutely fine and has worked well. So, having a look at troops in China, and then we will have a look at the troops over in areas like Singapore, because we have got most of those troops kind of together. And remember, we want to make sure they hit at the right time, because something that we kind of see here, crossing rivers, shock attacks, we don't want that. And Singapore being an island, we have to deal with that, unfortunately. So, we will go and check that in just a second. Okay, like now. Unlike just about to attack, and in Singapore we are getting all of the troops together like we want, so now we should be able to move. There's a few more kind of things on their way, but for the most part, generally everything I want in Singapore is where it needs to be. We've got our cruisers meeting up with battleships that we were going to send towards Singapore to do some bombardment, but it kind of came across my head that this is a bit of a daft idea, and I was debating whether or not I actually want to do this, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. I have had people suggest this to me, but I don't necessarily think that's the right way. Instead, what I want them to do is bombard Batavia, soften it up before our invasion, because, you know, that's going to be more useful. I'm kind of doing the weird replenishment at sea just to kind of move fuel about, in case anywhere can. But for the most part, generally, it's not going to. Now we're going to cancel load supplies. I want to get these guys moving. We need to get moving to Batavia. I'm always a little bit worried, as you can probably understand, generally about not doing things quick enough. It's something that has generally worried me consistently, that I'm not getting things done quick enough. And actually, for the most part, people do seem to be suggesting that I'm not, which fair enough. Given the way I've kind of done stuff, I have kind of messed up quite a bit. So we do want to make sure that we're kind of keeping on with stuff. We'll make sure that those guys are on the move as quickly as they can. So hopefully they can deal with landing at Batavia and try and start the invasion of Batavia. Elsewhere, as mentioned, we did finally defeat the LARP Battalion. I couldn't see it properly, but yeah, we finally defeated the LARP Battalion. Good. We do have other stuff moving around. We've got fuel heading towards Rabaul, which is good. We've got a load of supplies, supply ships ready to go. We do need to just kind of make sure that the supply situation in the Solomon Islands is a little bit better. And not just the supply situation, we also have to kind of make sure that, we are getting troops where they need to be and doing things properly, because it is something that I seem to be very good at doing, which is completely ballsing stuff up. And in particular, messing stuff up in regards to, not setting troops to land, and therefore not having naval supply, or not naval supply, naval support, and then not having naval support means we don't have, troops getting offloaded, and yada, 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 and it's a constant, cycle, I think is the best way to describe it. And the fact that the cycle just kind of keeps happening, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse, or I make these mistakes and then that means that we're getting delayed by 3 or 4 days, and then we're trying to move forward, and things just aren't happening as speedily. That's what's kind of dragging us back. So hopefully this will prevent all of that. Elsewhere, we're kind of dealing with some of our subs. We're keeping an eye on our various bases and things like that. We're doing this stuff of moving things back if they're not offloading properly, so they're not sat there for days and days and days and become targets for Invictus's submarines if he finds them. So we are, again, trying our best to be a little bit more on the ball, be a bit more kind of aware, and trying to prevent, ourselves, if we can, from making too many silly mistakes. We are trying to learn from my mistakes. Whether or not, it was something that I could do myself, I don't know. But if I can actually get a bit of a learning curve and improve maybe for another game if that's something I do with someone else, or actually get forward and start to put some pressure on Invictus, because I think that is the big issue at the moment, is that if I'm Invictus, looking at how I'm kind of doing stuff, I'm not really causing him any sort of pressure, any sort of drama. He can very easily, and to be fair, he is doing what he wants to do. He is moving troops where he wants to move them. He is attacking me wherever he wants to, and it's just kind of not messing up with me, but I'm having to react to him seemingly for a lot of this, and that shouldn't be the situation. If we are, the Japanese at the beginning of this game, he should be reacting to me, and I should be able to get in the way with basically whatever I want. The problem is that isn't what's happening. At the moment, it is very much a case of him just doing whatever he wants, me having to react and change and keep an eye on things. And yeah, it's just not going very well for me. So we will see. We'll see how things go. I'm looking here to move more troops about, and in particular move, the supply units and the base forces and stuff around, so that hopefully we can actually, get what we need into places like Lunga and eventually into New Guinea and stuff like that, so we can dig in, get units built up, air bases and ports built up, so we can make it as tricky as possible for Invictus to do whatever he needs to do. Now that is kind of most of what is kind of happening with this episode. I'm just kind of looking at where we've got stuff. So for example, we've got a little bit of the leftovers of the 2nd Infantry Division here, which we know needs to go to Batavia. But what we're going to do is we're going to get it to meet the amphibious task force from Kamarat Bay. So again, trying to make it so that all of the 2nd Division hits Batavia at one point. I'm kind of hoping at this point that Batavia is going to be one of the things that really kicks start or really kind of reinvigorates this game. If we are successful in capturing Batavia and we can do it relatively quickly, then I feel like I can put the pressure onto Invictus. I feel like the shift will change. If it doesn't go that way and it ends up being much more I am kind of screwed and over and things like that, then clearly Invictus is probably going to be winning this game very early, and I'm going to kind of have to think about what I'm doing there. Now we're just kind of checking to see if we can resize and check the our aircraft sizes here for the Kido Butai, because we want to make sure that the Kido Butai are as armed and ready to go, because they are going to be needing to do quite a bit of fighting, and we are going to need them to do a lot of air coverage, and hopefully do the things that we kind of haven't done elsewhere, which is to finally destroy the Dutch Air Force over Batavia. So once that happens, that will be good. We can also see that we've got some light cruisers and destroyers kind of still hanging off the southern coast of the Philippines. Again, this is little things that I've been really negative and really poor at doing throughout this campaign, is I kind of forget to move stuff. And things just sit there. They just kind of sit in the ports or in a area or by an island for days, if not weeks. And then Invictus can just do whatever he wants. He can go, cool, okay, I know you've got something there. I'll avoid it. Or, oh, you've got a load of cargo ships there. Well, let me just go send my navy in here. Or my submarines, and cause you some drama. And it's just something that we've not been very good with. So just having a brief look around, I don't think there is much else that we want to be doing. Really just kind of sorting out a few combat situations in China, seeing if everything is okay over here, if there's anything we need to move or can move. For example, we might be able to get away with moving the 55th Infantry Brigade here, as well as some of the others. But again, just kind of keeping an eye on things. I don't want to upset things too much. I don't want to deal myself too many problems. But yeah, we'll have a look. Now, something I do want to do is looking at Wushang. There is some units there that we could use, a couple of divisions that we could use to maybe even move to the north, and perhaps try and push the fight in China even more. We're gonna bring units over to Wushang to kind of form a new division, but we can see we only need 200 people in Wushang. So let us move the divisions here. So this is the 39th, the 40th, and I believe the 60th division. This is where I mess up, because I accidentally moved the 51st Infantry Brigade and I realised I don't want to move those. So cancel that move. And yeah, the let's say 6th or 60th. Again, I can't quite see on the recording. and then they're going to move, towards Chengdu, and Chengte, and again try and put pressure on Invictus. This is one place where things are going well. China is going well for us, so we kind of want to build on that. I generally don't know what happens if you. I know you've got to try and capture Chongqing, and there is the other one in the very top of the map here by the hump. I know those are the ones you kind of have to capture to stop the Chinese reinforcements. I don't know what happens if you capture that. Do you then just basically knock China out of the war, and then you've got all of these infantry units that, yes, you've got to make sure you've got garrisons, but suddenly you have like 30, 40 divisions, well, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, available to play with. It is something that it will be intriguing to see, and I am very much curious about. So, just sorting out a little bit of our aircraft. We obviously got smacked a little bit last time. And I have been told in the past that long-range cap is not ideal, really. It puts a lot of stress on the airframes and things like that. So we are going to sort out some of our aircraft. And this is pretty much what we're doing for the rest of the day. So there's nothing super exciting going on here. So, as I kind of mentioned, as you noticed, this is a bit of a longer video. Do let me know if you have enjoyed this. I am going to make sure that there are chapters for each day, so you can easily just kind of click on each day. If there's something that you enjoy watching, maybe you're not going to watch all, you want to watch all 2.5 hours of the LowesyPC movie, but you have got things to do. A really good way to drive up engagement for myself, but actually to keep your place, is comment a little timestamp if you've got to go somewhere. It's better at keeping your place than YouTube's automatic system. Now, to be honest, because it's only 2.5 hours, it should be fine, but you never know. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on our last few planes, making sure we don't lose too many Nels and Bettys and things like that. But we're going to progress forward very, very soon, and we're going to look at the 7th of February, 2 months into this campaign. 7th of December, 7th of January, we're now on to the 7th of February. It's been 2 months into this campaign, although in reality, this is the 7th, sorry, the combat for the 7th, although in reality it's been a bit longer. So, it's been a little while since the last recording, but things are looking up a little bit. We're nearly at our kind of plan for the invasion or the attack on Singapore. Our invasion of Java is leaving port. Some of our subs have been relatively successful, so there's hope. But the best kind of way of saying it, there's hope and actually maybe doing something. Who knows? So yeah, there is, as I say, a lot kind of happening and a lot going on. What we kind of need to do, as best we can, is make sure that amphibious force gets to Java as best it can, without too much, basically no damage, ideally. But to me, that feels like it's too much of an ask. I've played this campaign far too much. I feel like I know exactly what's going to happen. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all be fine. So we'll keep an eye on stuff. So moving through the night phase relatively quickly, which is always lovely because the night phase, I still don't know why. Please, 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 someone in the comments explain to me how the night phase bloody works, because it does seem to take a little bit longer than it should, and it confuses me. Oh, that's not good. One of our light ships taking torpedo hits and sinking. The Sea Raven going again, this time hitting another one. Probably sinking that as well. So the Sea Raven's having a good day. That's not good. Okay. Sweeps over Singapore. Now, we have no call it, sprites, because I alt-tabbed to do some stuff. Looked like the Buffaloes got absolutely wrecked there. According to this, only 4 were lost, but it did feel like a lot more. So that's interessant. Betty Bombers hitting Clark Field, generally quite together by the looks of it, which is pretty good. 5 damage. Don't seem to have done much actual damage to the enemy forces. Again, nothing really kind of happening there, which is not great. But hey-ho. Zero's up against Buffaloes again. More Buffaloes being destroyed. So, you know, at least the, are doing something useful. The Zeros over Singapore, they're kind of reducing those, the Allied aircraft. Now, that's obviously going to be really significant come, you know, the landing on Java, because hopefully by that point, the Allies will, you know, Singapore will be under attack. It'd be great if Singapore fell really quickly, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But still, they hopefully will have, you know, a landing or maybe even a base on Java, which will then allow us to bring the Zeros over and get rid of these fuckers, basically. That causes us loads of problems. Now, B-17s still trying to bomb, you know, some of our areas, and they're here bombing Bangkok. How does it seem to happen like this? That Invictus gets the fucking best hits he can find. Managing to hit 2 of my carriers and a battleship while they're in port. What the fuck? And then when I do a port raid, I get nothing. Honestly, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Oh, that's so annoying. That is so annoying. I don't even, I said at the beginning there was hope that the campaigns were going somewhere, but then that fucking happens, and I mean, what, how do I even kind of I don't even know. I don't even know. Okay. Deliberate attack at Nanyang. This is our kind of assault that has been kind of pushing through China. And seemingly moving at a pretty decent rate. Huge amounts of Allied casualties. Surprising that the units actually retreated and weren't destroyed. Deliberate attack at Kukong. We're trying our best here to try to overcome the Chinese. Not too bad. We've, you know, suffered a little bit there. I suppose our attacker's in the wrong op mode, so we'll keep an eye on that. Bombardment at Kanshan, that's fine. Okay, this is bombardment attack at Loyang. Bombardment attack at Tier 1. We should probably get that to be a deliberate attack. And then Japanese bombardment attack at Clark Field. Now I'm just looking. There is still a lot of combat strength here at Clark Field. We do obviously have the 38th and 48th Division here, which look pretty, you know, pretty happy with themselves in terms of assault value, but the defending force is still pretty dug in. And we're still taking more casualties than they are, which sucks. Hey, victory in southern Sumatra, and a deliberate attack on Tarakan. Finally! Finally, we've taken Tarakan. Fuck the bombing of the Akagi and Nakaga. The capturing of Tarakan, that truly is the most, you know, successful thing that we've ever done. And yeah, the campaign is saved. No, the campaign's not saved. Ay, 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 ay. Honestly, I'll have to have a look. Right, let's go. Let's go. Battle damage assessment. Oh wow, the cargo took 80 days. It's gonna be. Oh my god. That's really not good. Why did they like not get it? I wonder if it's because they were in port. Oh, that's just so fucking annoying. Okay, the Congo is relatively fine. So that's okay. What about the kamikaze classes? Yeah, that's fine. We're going to need to move these out of here. So where's the Akagi then? She took a bit of damage as well. Nothing too major. Oh great. It'll be available in a couple of days because I kind of just fucked that. Okay. That's really annoying. What do we have to counter those? Because he'll be back. He absolutely will be back. Right, there's some Oscars here. Transfer to base, go to Bangkok. Select on map. Okay. So, let's make sure that these are on cap, basically, for as long as they need to be. Let's just have a quick look at combat reports, see how high they were flying. So 19,000 feet. Okay. So yeah, if we get the Oscars at like 20,000 feet, then we'll probably get them to use drop tanks. Don't need to be at maximum range. This hopefully will make sure that they can dive. The only problem is they're KI-43As, which means they're only armed with basically pea shooters, but we will see. And as I say, they are going to make sure that they fucking shoot those bombers down, because holy fuck. It's really fucking frustrating. Really frustrating. I've got to wait for a couple of days for the Kaga and the Kagi to be ready to go. Okay. So, what's this transport doing? Where's this going? Oh, this is the 53rd Division. I wonder if it's worthwhile sending these to Pamelbang. Or do we send these also to Java? Because my kind of thing is I don't necessarily want to overly rush like assaults and things like that. But at the same time, we do want to make sure that everything is ready to go. Now, we've still got a day on the 11th Infantry Regiment. Right, everything's moving in. What? Unable to reach target, move not allowed. Why is that? Is that because of the enemy units that are here? Okay, let's Is that what he's just done there? By attacking me with that, he's kind of delaying me. So if so, that's annoying. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to launch... so... This can't... Oh, fuck. I'm having a moment. Having a moment. Yeah, I'm like panicking a little bit. Also, why are they... I don't know why they were trying to upgrade. Right. Let's make sure these are trying to cap to prevent anything there. So... I've balls this up again. They need to unload, but the problem is they can't dock because the ship is the size is too. The dock size is too big. How many ships are here? Doesn't actually say. Okay, let's go to camera bay. So they can have 84,000. It's got to be bigger than that, surely. But it has to be because it's not letting us disband them. It's 85,000. Okay, so if we transfer ships to and from TF, get rid of the escorts for a sec, then it should be able to dock. There we go. So they'll be able to get their stuff off quicker. And then we can dock them faster after that. There's sub-chasers here that should be sub-chasing. So let's get that out. Cool, that'll let them go. Hopefully we can deal with some the enemy subs and stuff. There's our invasion fleet on the way, so that's good. Heading towards Batavia, so that's fine. Makassar, they're doing fine. Ryu is supporting these guys offloading supplies. Good. At Tianet, these guys should be being loaded. Yeah, because they're going to be heading to Bolea. Good. Okay, then. So, for the most part, things are kind of back to what we wanted to, for the most part. You've got a bunch of supplies, so go to Woodlock Island because I need you to build. And then, where's the other one? Oh, it's on its way back. So this is the one that I completely ballsed up with as well. This is for Lunga. So that needs to make sure that that gets sorted as well. Okay, now... We had cargo ship sunk. It's moving fuel as well. Oh, for God's sake. Swear to God, he's getting extremely lucky. And there's patrol boats nearby. That's how I feel half the time. I just want to say fuck off Invictus. Because it does feel like that at times. That he kind of gets away with this shit. Okay. So I'm trying to just Jakes are the ones we want because they've got decent range. So they are replenishing, I think. Wait for them to be fixed. I also want to get these upgraded, but they can't upgrade from here at the moment. And I can't remember where the biggest airbase is for them to upgrade. Maybe Rabaul yet? Not quite. Let's try seeing if they can fly to Rabaul, though. Transfer to base. They cannot make it. I can't remember where they've come from. See, this is my problem. I have these moments where I'm like, this is why I should not, you know, why going away for so long causes these issues where I forget exactly what it is I'm doing. Now, I could load them onto ships. There's actually ships coming. There's a base force coming there for truck. That's nice. Now, I don't know why. Again, see my problems. I'm confused. Okay. Let us adding supplies to Rabaul. Fine moment. Ah, God. Okay. Let's go to. There's cargo ships here that just kind of not doing anything. So, disband. Disband. As transport, they are trying to offload an Air Force unit. Okay. Also transforce. Also trying to do it, but can't. Again, not sure why. So this is where I have that thing where it doesn't make sense to me why these can't offload. So again, if people do know, let me know. Fine. Sub patrol. God, they need a lot of repairing. So disband. Sub patrol. Also needs repairing. But also needs fuel. Mine laying. How is the mine laying going anyway? Defensive mines. 188. That doesn't seem like enough. Okay, whatever. Okay, so form new TF. Air transport. There's a couple of AKs here which we'll take. As well as... Oh god, that's a destroyer. Sure. Set home port. Go to truck. And they can then pick up those... call it... Claudes and turn them into zeros to give us a bit more air power. Okay, so... Apart from the bombing over there, things should be going relatively okay. He says. Thinking probably it's not going okay, but we'll just tell ourselves it is to make ourselves feel better. Okay, so what do we need here? 20 garrison, for fuck's sake. Okay, so let us move. I don't want the 6th Army is here. And the 6th Army is supposed to be there. Ah, no, I don't want that to be deliberate. That was almost me gonna kill myself. Oh, they're all in move. Yeah, they should be in combat. That, kids, is why you should have it as combat. Make sure units work less effectively. Okay, so... Let's try and destroy these. Because that's the aim here, is to completely destroy that. We're moving towards Kuching as we speak, so that's fine. These guys should be in deliberate attack, because there's not really much there. They can deal with that. They're moving up, try and harass the enemy. So yeah, good. Good. Unit OOB, one's in Nanchang. Transfer to base Hankow. Map. Rebuild our units. Okay, so a lot of aircraft there. Can't really upgrade because there's no aircraft for it to upgrade. Great. Okay, let's have a quick look at the industry as well while we're here. Actually, yes, air production. So we've got a lot of lilies, which is fine. Oscars are taking their fucking sweet time getting prepared. Sally's, we still need more. Zeros we got a lot of, so that's fine. R&D, anything happening here? Roofs are going along, which is okay, but still not on the A6M3. Which I don't get, and I don't think there's much happening elsewhere either. You know. Engines. Got anything near being 500 yet? Don't think so. No, happy fuck. I'm not swearing in this one. Apologies to children. There, Nakajima H35. H35, 197. 172 in pools, that's fine. Alrighty then. So signals, Suva, Queentown. Okay, nothing to worry about. Anything here? No, not really. Not really at all. Okay. Just gotta deal with this bloody thing. Stop us from attacking. Other than that, I hope everything is okay. We will see. The bombardment units for Batavia are on their way. But I have just kind of realised something though. They're off to Batavia, but they're going to be exposed. I have no problem having them bombard, but I think they need to follow these guys. Until we're at least through this strait and into the Java Sea. Because otherwise it's still just going to be a nightmare. It's just going to be a load of dead ships, basically. Which we do not want. We do not want at all. Because I'm not really sure how we're going to cover them otherwise. Unless... Is there... There isn't, but there can be. What's the size of this airbase? 4. So it's pretty chunky. Right. So we've got a load of Sallys here, a lot of which need aircraft, to be honest. They're a wee bit low on the old aircraft front. We could set them to 1Cs, which would give us a lot, but we'll kind of wait. What I am going to do, though, is when that gets down here, I'm going to move these zeros down. They can help provide cover, because I'm going to get them to sweep a little bit. There's a bit of fatigue there. But yeah, I'm gonna get them to sweep over Batavia. Because, ooh, can they actually make it? Hold on. No. Fuck. Okay, never mind. My plan has already gone to shit. From Singapore they would be able to, but no, okay. It's fine. My plan's already gone to shit. Go back into reserve there. Okay. Alright then, so we'll leave it here. Trying to work out what the hell we're going to do. But until next time, thank you very much, everyone. Please do remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment, because it does help the channel. It does help suggest a video to others, which is always fantastic, and that's what we want. We need to see if we can do something successful in the next few days. The attack on Singapore is preparing itself, although it would seem that Invictus has attempted to frustrate us by trying to, move some units. Here we are seeing a US sub being absolutely battered by one of our sub-chasers. The first depth charge seemed to do significant damage. These others are doing some damage to it, but probably springing a leaks. But there we go. See another, what's the word I'm looking for? Damage. It's forced to surface it, and it is now being hit on the surface. I think they have sunk that sub. Oh, no, not yet. There you go. Sub slips beneath the waves. I think that's pretty confirmed. But the USS Seal has been sunk, so we'll take it. We'll take it. We don't get many victories in this game, so we will take that one. Here we have a Dutch sub, I believe, or is this a British sub? Trying to hit us just off of Rabaul. It didn't succeed in what it was doing. A little bit worrying though. And unfortunately we didn't hit it either with our depth charges, but you know, still you know, showing that we're kind of on another Dutch sub there. So I can't remember if those are Dutch subs or not. Now that is obviously a submarine that's harassing our Batavian invasion force. So yeah, we do not want that one to take too much damage. Are we going to get some bombing on Batavia? Some on Port Moresby. Managing to hit the runway. I might have to try and see if we can do port strikes on Port Moresby. Because there's definitely ships there. And it's something that we've not really been able to do. Again, we'll have a look in regards to what's going on with things like zeros and stuff like that. This is one of our own subs here being attacked by one of the Australian corvettes. Submarine taking severe damage. So, probably, looking at that, we may have lost the I-164, which isn't good. So we're trading subs at the moment, although it doesn't say that it's been sunk, so keep an eye on that, but it does seem that we are trading subs this evening. You know, not the worst thing in the world. You know, we've got to take any victory we can get, and annoyingly, in a way, sinking American subs is not really that significant, because particularly certain American subs at this time in the war are useless, really. You know, they don't have the decent torpedoes, so yes, they are still a threat, but they're much less of a threat than they will be later in the game. So, you know, in a way, we almost want to destroy some of the older subs that have those older and more effective torpedoes. But even despite that, I am still going to say any successful submarine that is sunk is super significant. You know, the Allies do have a lot of submarines and they can cause a lot of issues. We've got a bit of fighting going on over Kong. So this is some Oscars fighting some Flying Tigers. It looks like the Flying Tigers are kind of getting the upper hand. They shot down one of our Oscars. The other two had to withdraw. We got some damage, but nothing significant. Some I-15s also defending Changsha. So this is Chinese pilots. You know, these it's 1942, but these planes are, well, the I-15 is a plane that I would argue is not really out of place in World War One. The Nate is definitely a monoplane, so post World War One, although there were metal monoplanes in World War One, particularly on the German side. But I mean, it's not very sophisticated, is it? The Nate, and actually the I-15s did manage to get into our hands, although by the seams of it, not too much damage. Too exciting. Ishang's taking damage, which is good. Lily is bombing Singapore. They are taking, they're taking a lot of flak damage. Wow. A lot of flak damage. What the hell? Oh, they were flying at 3,000 feet. That might be why. Yeah, we're going to have to fly those a bit higher. That was silly by me. If they were flying at 3,000 feet, that does just... Yeah, I don't know if they were set to that or what, because obviously there is a bit of variation, but they shouldn't have been flying that low, really. Managed to damage an SB, destroy an SB3, and damaged a couple of others. Nothing too significant. Okay, so some Hudsons being used here. Bombing on Oosthaven. That's, you know, annoying, but kind of one of those things that we've kind of got on with now. Again, it's kind of good to let the Invictus's focus be on that. Now, this is the one we want to deal with. This is much more significant attacks here from Invictus on Bangkok. I wouldn't be surprised if obviously he's buoyed by the success of yesterday. And we have got, you know, our Oscars and, well, Nate's trying to fly higher and trying to deal with these. But the problem is they just don't have enough, enough firepower to deal with these. And actually you can see that our Oscars are taking damage and they're not shooting these B-17s down. And this is kind of the problem. If they're not going to shoot these guys down, then the B-17s are not going to shy away from this attack. You know, if they were to start taking casualties, they might actually consider turning back, but they don't seem to be, and they've managed to reach. Oh, fuck me. They've hit the Akagi and Kaga again and caused it significant damage. We're not shooting down these B-17s. We need to move the Tojos from Borneo up to here. This is just not working. That's really bad for us. That is really bad for us. Like, all of his B-17s were damaged there, but the damage they caused was far too much. That's really bad. Really, really bad for us. Like, really bad. The thing is, they're still taking some time to actually get out of, what you call it, Now, what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to move the Oscars from their missions. You know, there's 1Cs up there that do have better machine guns to, again, try and stop these B-17s. We have a couple of days before the Karga and the Kagi can move. That's obviously if they're not taking any bombing damage from those B-17s. Okay, landing at Milne Bay. So this is dealing with the 9th Indian Division that Invictus kind of sent to harass us and stop us from doing anything. It is retreating towards Singapore, taking a lot of damage, which is pretty good for us, and hopefully that'll allow us to move. Deliberate attack at Kung Kong, reducing the fortifications down to 0. We took a bit more casualties than the Chinese, but now they've got no fortifications. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Where else? Bombardment attack. Up near Loyang. Lots of allied there. Deliberate attack at Tier 1. Kind of want to break through this, but looking at that, we took a lot of casualties there. Interesting. Not ideal. Bombardment attack at Clarkfield. We'll let that zoom forward. Still don't get how we haven't, you know, how we're not being able to break through Clarkfield yet, but hey, it's one of those things we've got to kind of deal with. I'm still fuming about the Akagi and Kaga. Yeah, look how much casualties we take from that bombardment, honestly. And we've got big guns there as well, so we shouldn't be in a way, but I don't get it. We do not get it at all. Now, we're going to have to think about where we're going to send the Akagi and the Kaga as well, because I don't want them at Camera Bay. Because they would still be in range of the B-17s. Now, in a way, obviously, we could probably get a bit more protection at Camera Bay, but let's actually have a look at how bad they are doing. So the Kaga is ready to move, but she is really not in any fit state, so to speak. The Akagi is available in 2 days. She is not as bad, but the Kaga is really struggling. Well, she's not massively struggling, but it's not ideal. Okay, so where are our repair ports? They can't go into Saigon. Camera Bay doesn't actually have a repair port. Bangkok does, but we're not keeping it in Bangkok. Does it? No, Bangkok doesn't. Okay, so where are our repair ports then? Not Sama, Takeo? No. We're going to have to go all the way to... No, Manila is, but obviously we can't get into Manila at the moment. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, no, Bangkok doesn't. Hong Kong? Hong Kong does 50 shipyard, which means it can hold 50,000 tons for shipping. And that is the nearest. How heavy is the Kaga? 38,000. Okay. So it could be the Kaga goes to Hong Kong. I know that Kagoshima will be one, but again, the problem with Kagoshima is it's too, well, A, it's not big enough, but it's also too close to Invictus's bombers, and I have a feeling he'd try and bomb me from there. Maybe Kobe for the Akagi. Okay, so let us form an UTF. Air combat. The Kaga, Congo, Haruna, and a load of destroyers, please. Now we need to keep an eye on this. Replenish at sea. Set destination Hong Kong. Set home port Hong Kong. Now again, there is a bit of a problem with Hong Kong. It's not perfect. Now the only kind of saving grace that I can think of is that in reality Hong Kong will, you know, it's not super far, but it's shouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if Hong Kong is going to be good enough, but it needs to be for the time being. Now what we're going to do is we're going to load Bangkok with 1Cs. We're going to set them to 20,000. They are all going to be on cap, set for all fighters in this base. Because again, we want them to see what they can catch. The 1Cs are slightly better as they have 12.7 millimeter machine guns. So the equivalent of a 50 caliber machine gun, if I'm right in thinking. So they've got a chance of doing some damage. I'm going to have to fly the Tojos back somewhere. The problem is, I don't know if there's anywhere that they can make. They can fly to Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so we're going to fly them to Kuala Lumpur, and then they're going to need to get up to Bangkok from there, and then obviously Camara Bay and over to Hong Kong. They're going to have to provide cover for the Kaga and the Akagi. Now, what we'll also do is air combat. We'll put the Zeros that are here also on 100% cap at 20,000 feet. Give them drop tanks as well to hopefully give them a bit more, what's what I'm looking for. A bit more fuel. Hopefully they will do more damage to the enemy. Now, where were these lilies? Because there were some... there they are. Yeah, so they're set to 3,000 feet. No thanks. Let's go to 12,000 feet if you're going to bomb Singapore. Otherwise, it's far too low. Okay, now everything's ready to go. So let's march directly into Singapore. Set all to follow. So that means everything should land in Singapore at the same time where we begin our attack. It's going to be rough, it's going to be brutal, but it's the thing we have to do. And we'll see how it ends up going. Now, what's the situation at the moment with Kota Baru? It's not really big enough. I'm hoping there is supplies being moved anyway, so it shouldn't matter too much. These guys are on the move, which is kind of useful and handy for us, so that's fine. Let's go check Milne Bay, which is where we've landed the SNLF as well. They seem to have captured that. We've got our road construction appearing at Woodlark soon, so that's good. We also need to sort out Lunga, but it looks like the transport units are here. Now, we cannot annoyingly switch those, so what we need to do is we do need to offload these. We cannot dock due to port size, so transfer ships to and from. I think the only things we'll be able to move is those patrol boats. That going to allow us to dock? No, fuck. So delays again, because your boy is an idiot. Okay. Well, they're going to Madang. I mean, they're going to Bolair. Fine. Just looking around and thinking about things. Trying to work out what's going on in my head. Work out what we're planning on doing and how we're fighting this war. Okay. Oh, let's actually have a quick check on their sub that got hit. It's not great, but it's not dead by any means. Go to... It's saying it's crippled. Go to Rabul. That would be better for you. It's quicker. You'll be able to survive better. Okay. Now, do we have zeros here? We do. We also have nils. So what I'm wondering is, we actually have a lot of zeros. Should we set nils? Yeah. Let's do day raids on Port Moresby. And let's do naval attack. Oh, port attack, sorry. On Port Moresby. And we can go to 12,000 feet. And we can use, obviously, those zeros to assist. It should provide us with a decent amount of damage that can be done to them. The air transport turned up there? Not yet. Okay. We should have some Betty bombers possibly somewhere not doing much. They're bombing Clark Field for the most part. These guys down here. And there's also recon with no pilots. So let's get them some pilots. Let's just have a quick moment. Land naval units. Oh wait, naval. No, this isn't the right one. Land based. Let's go IJN level bombers. Oh, that's light bombers. Okay, Takeo. What the hell is that? Right, they're gonna move. I think I might also move the ones from Kuching as well. Where can he actually reach from here in one go? Yeah, they can reach Babladal. Let's do that. Ah. The other ones were here, I think. Yeah. Oh, we actually need removing soon. Can these reach Babladal? They actually can. Okay, so we'll get them for a little bit, but that'll give us a few, that'll allow us to really start to hammer Port Moresby and whatever is there. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, because again, that's somewhere I definitely want us to try and take. Pargo, Broken Hill, radio transmissions at Batavia. Nothing super, like, oh my god, this is so interesting and so new. But yeah, we will keep an eye on stuff. I just need to get this. Those can disband at the time being. I need this to get out of there. Now, I don't want to push it too much because it's damaged. But yeah, they need to get to Hong Kong pretty sharpish. Now it'll be interesting. Well, I don't know. Okay, so we'll leave it there for today. I think that's pretty much what we're going to do. Ideally, he is going to stick and carry on fighting us in Hong Kong, try and bombard us in Bangkok. I need to work out what we're going to do with Burma. I'm going to have a good think about it and have a look at what forces we've got available to us for Burma, because we need to get in there sooner rather than later, open that area up. At the moment, it's only a minor victory for the Allies, which is kind of good, but yeah, we need to have a look. I'm sure there's a division or two, or at least a single division perhaps, that we can move from the Home Islands. Is there a division in the Home Islands chilling? There's a load of infantry groups, but I don't know. Part of 46. Oh, they're not ready yet. Okay. There's a 33rd division there, so there is a division there that's actually due to be moved, and I've not moved it. Okay. It is set for Rangoon. Was this the one that I was going to do a naval invasion with? It was, you know. It's also the 54th here. Now, can I move this from here? I can. So... I want Quotan Army. Okay. Okay, so that gives us 2 divisions. The question is, where are we going to land them? Now, my initial idea was to do something like land them in Akyab, because a while back I was on about this mental idea of moving. I don't even know where they are. There's another division there as well. Yeah, I was on about this mental idea. Oh, I don't think I can actually move that one because that's here. Yeah, that's here to keep Shanghai happy. This kind of mental idea of doing a airborne landing into what you call it. Into northern Burma, but I don't know how far that is kind of gone. What's resources? Okay. Let us just quickly find them. Ground units. So, we know that they're infantry. Let's put inf with a P, there they are. So they're currently in task force. Okay, so they're on their way to Bangkok now. So they are going to do what we wanted them to do. Because my kind of bold and crazy plan was to land them in the north here to draw these forces away. But also provide us a bit of recon for Chittagong. So that if, for example, Invictus is kind of focusing hard on Burma, we kind of skip Burma, land in Chittagong, and obviously everything that comes with. And then he's kind of trapped then, and we can hopefully destroy those forces, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what goes on. I don't necessarily want that. I want the weather report, which is that one. Clear sky, rain, clear sky. Does it actually change depending on where you are? Yeah, it does. I didn't realize that. I just thought it was general overall. Okay, so we'll leave it here with us kind of, well, not really doing well, but with plans in motion as always. But hopefully those plans to come to a little bit of fruition. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on things and go from there. There's a random cruiser force there. Okay. Why are they there? Oh, look, I forgot, yeah. We need to sweep Tarakan as well with our TMSs, but I don't know if... Oh, we do, actually. Minesweeping. Patrol zone. Go sweep Tarakan for me, please. So we can deal with that. We can maybe start looking at moving oil from Miri soon. We've also got oil in Balikpapan as well, or, well, loads of fuel. But I don't really want to start moving that until we secure Batavia. Well, need to do that sooner rather than later. It's just going. I think is the only way to kind of describe things. It is going. Yeah, it's not going particularly great at the moment, and there's a lot of issues kind of happening. We are not making the best of this early opportunities. Good news is we did manage to capture Milne Bay, which I think is pretty significant. We managed to sweep some mines at Kuantan, which it's also useful. Dutch torpedo missing, or a Dutch submarine missing some of our cargo ships, which is a bit of a surprise because Dutch submarines are pretty good normally. So that is a bit of a surprise that they missed that, but we'll take it. We've got to take those things when we can. This is a patrol boat, hopefully finding the USS Salmon, but it doesn't seem to. So, okay. This time it's another sub. This time, I think it's the same one, and it's now deciding to use its guns to hit the AKL light as well as torpedo. So I do think that would be sinking, which is a bit annoying. Not the it's one of those things that does happen. Let's see how else things go. Okay. Dodgy report of a periscope. Another dodgy report of a submarine wake. Any air night strikes? One was maybe going to Batavia, but it's cancelled. Okay, so this will be going into our day. Now, this is obviously where we want to see how things go, particularly over Bangkok, where we have suffered the last few days with 2 of our carriers being hit. Now, this is a ship really close to what you call it? Our coastline, which is a bit bold. There's machine guns being used, and a lot of hits here, so we're just going to skip through. We will get onto this, because this is not good, that there's a ship that was hit that much. Now, a lot of it, I'm not going to be too worried. Some of it was with shells, but a lot of it was with 50 caliber machine guns. But we need to deal with that, because, that's not good that Invictus is able to kind of have his submarines that close, particularly to some of our major naval bases as well, where we're going to be supplying with fuel and resources in the future. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see how it goes. As I say, the big thing today is to kind of see... oh, great, good miss. Kind of see how things go with... over Bangkok, we're taking some damage here, the I-4. I think it's had to surface, so great. Brilliant, just what we want. Immediately lose our... the submarine that's been out there. Good. Sweeps over Oosthaven. That's fine. This is our attack on Port Moresby. There is a lot of Warhawks here. Now, I kind of expected this. Now, obviously, this is why we decided to escort with our Zeros against the Warhawks. Hopefully, that will provide us with, success. But they do seem to be getting the they're getting the upper hand on us here a little bit, which is not good. Come on, boys. No, I'm kind of wanting our Zeros to smash these Warhawks, but I don't really know how well this is going to go. The thing is we don't want them to get into the Nels either. Again, this could be good pilots from Invictus. That's something that is very, very possible. That he knows that Port Moresby is going to be one of the key areas that we're going to be trying to hit him, and therefore has made sure that he's got his kind of best pilots, and he has got into the Nels. Another of them got through, where hopefully they can do some damage, but it didn't seem like they were doing a lot. And then on the way back, a lot more got destroyed, so that's not good for us at all. Yeah, that wasn't really good enough. Not good enough at all. Might have a look at that. But this is where it does sometimes feel like I'm playing on hard mode, you know. If that was Invictus, he'd have, you know, managed to get all his bombers through and destroyed like 12 ships and stuff like that. But you know, me, I get one port hit and lose basically all my bombers. I'm not salty. I promise I'm not salty. No, I'm not. It's one of those things. I know that I've not played the game seemingly particularly well, but sometimes it does seem that anything I try to do just does not come off. Whereas if Invictus wants someone, is trying to do something, it seems to work amazingly. And you do kind of kick yourself and think, well, you know, how's that supposed to work? Now, interestingly, was that ship again causing us more problems? That submarine causing us more problems. I'm going to try and deal with that next turn. The B-17s didn't fly over Bangkok today. Interesting. Okay. Liber attack at tier 1. We're still not breaking through there. Not quite, but a lot of casualties for the enemy. Bombardment attack at Manila. You know, this kind of goes. I'm still shocked that these guys haven't lost. What you call it? Yeah. Better, but I'm shocked they haven't lost supply yet. Kind of crazy to me that they haven't. Why is Woodlock expanding its fortifications? It needs its airbase up. Woodlock doesn't need fortifications, it needs an airbase. Interesting. Someone just turned up there. Where was it? There, some Betty bombers. Okay, that is going to grow to 27. Okay, that's pretty good. There's some decent naval bombers there, so once they get their aircraft, I'm going to ship them down. Probably, I don't actually know, probably to Rabaul, I think, would be the best bet for them. Okay, the Akagi is available in one more day. Or it is there and can do its flights. Where did we want to have a look? Have a look at forces down on here. Now, I want to have a look at Woodlock for a second. Don't build fortifications, build the port to begin with, and then you can build the airfield. It's kind of the same with Milne Bay. We need to get some resources here. So we'll have to have a look at that and see what we can do. Now, cancel unload cargo. Mission. I can disband this now. Okay, good. Okay. Oh, my throat is causing me some problems here. Let us disband some of these, because they're not really doing much and they're taking up space and time. Again, that can be disbanded so it can be repaired. So, let us go into here, okay, and form an UTF. And this is going to have to be amphibious. I'll give them patrol boats for the time being. AKTs. Ideally, if they've already got supply, it makes it a bit easier. Okay. Now, load troops. We want the Field Air Force Battalion. And the 4th Base Force. Verify load, and you're going to need to add some ships to this. Set and set destination of Lunga. Now that should get those guys off so that they can do what they need to do. Now let's also do form UTF. Let's do the same at Milne Bay. Let's use a couple of destroyers just to be a bit more on the safe side. Mostly got AKs. We have got some APs, which is useful. Done. And then load troops. Let us load the 2nd naval construction plus a couple of these units here. Verify load. Set destination Milne Bay. So that will allow them to basically get out and do what they need to do. Now let's have a look at these zeros that are providing escort. Let's have a look at the pilots a second. So in terms of air combat, most of these are actually pretty good. I don't know if I'm that worried by them. Those Mavises are not necessarily for air combat, they're for air search. That's fine. And again, these zeros here also very good. So the 2 zeros that I have, I shouldn't really be worried by. The Nels, in terms of ground bombing, are also pretty good. They're actually just pretty good at everything they do. So yeah, a bit confusing there. We could upgrade them to Betty bombers, actually. Let's do that now. So they upgrade to Betty bombers, which should make it a little bit easier for them. Let's stand them down for a night. Just because most of their planes, well, fuck me, most of the planes are going to take several days. So what we can do instead is, instead of doing escorts, let's do sweeps over Port Moresby with our zeros. Don't need 90% cap. Let's put that at like 20%. Rest at 30. Sure. And set this for all zeros at the base. So that should give us enough fighters and hopefully, start to really kind of destroy any of those Warhawks that are hanging around Port Moresby, so that when those Betty bombers are ready, we can really hit Invictus hard. Now we should be getting some ships up here to do some air transport for us. So let us load troops, and again I kind of want to load these fighters. That should be fine. Set destination to Rabaul. Let us see if we can also, have we got anything to support this? Yes, we do. We actually have a couple of destroyers here, which will be good. Cool. They can go along with that as well, and that gives that a little bit more cover and a little bit more help. Nice. Okay, so that will provide us with even more zeros in in Rabaul, which is good. Now we should have We do. We've got the 33rd Division here, which is ready to move, and it's planning to go to Rangoon. So, where is that transport? I think it's going to be this one. It's also covered and protected by cruisers and sub-chasers. So let us load troops, and it's going to be the 33rd Division. Verify load. Accept. Cannot dock due to the port size. So let us form a new TF of this, surface combat. And then what they can do is meet task force. That's going to be the transport, the longest endurance. And then what we can do is next turn, or when the transport loads, starts to load, or starts to move off, they can then join them and cover them. So set destination. Go down to... Is it worthwhile going down to Bangkok? Really, we need Molmine but to land troops quickly. But Bangkok might have to be the best place for them. Sure. I don't really know if I want to move them through Chiang Mai either. That's going to take too long. We'll see what happens with... what do we call it? We'll see what happens between now and Singapore, because you never know. It might be worth, we might break through in Singapore, which will make things a little bit nicer for us. Now, what's a patrol craft got? No anti-submarines, so that's a bit pointless. So we got a couple of patrol boats about. I'm trying to see if we've got any more sub-chasers in the area. Okay, there's a couple of sub-chasers there. So, our submarine combat. Let's get these two. They're not particularly fast, but their home port can be Nagasaki. Then what we can do is we can set them on a patrol zone. Clear destination. Patrol zone. Boundary 1. In Nagasaki. Boundary 2 in Kagoshima. And it can make sure that it's got some reaction going on. So that, again, it should hopefully try and clear anything in that area, because we lost some of these that are trying to supply Okinawa. So yeah, we don't necessarily want that to be happening. So good. Okay then. The Shoho is here at the moment. Can you upgrade to zeros, please? Because it's better for you. We'll look at moving the Shoho somewhere as well. Maybe down to the Dutch East Indies. Or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe the Dutch East Indies. We've also got some cruiser mine layers here as well. Which... yeah, I can see about those. 54th Division is also on the move to Nagasaki. So we're going to send the 54th and the 33rd over to Thailand. Now, that would give us, with the units in Singapore, if we can break Singapore, that is, that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, let's probably say about 7 or 8 divisions worth of infantry to try and crack Burma, which should be more than enough. We've obviously got units on the way down to Batavia. We've got the 2nd Infantry Division on the way down to Batavia, so that should be hopefully decent enough, but we'll keep an eye on that. And then we've actually got some of that destroyed, which isn't very good. And obviously, again, it depends on what ends up happening with, say, Manila, because if we manage to... So these guys are just chilling here, and they need to do something. Okay, let's send them down to Balikpapan. Okay, that'll allow them to reload. They've actually got the 16th Army on here. The hell? That's weird. That's very weird. Now, what we could also do is, how are these getting on? Better. They are recuperating pretty nicely. Now, what I'm thinking is, if we send some of these guys down, although these are parachute regiments, could we fly these down and land near the ally, like try and capture these smaller islands? Because we definitely really ought to capture these islands in the Philippines. Problem is, I don't actually know what's there, so I might want to check that before I really do anything. The heavy artillery still hasn't got actually any of its guns, so that's a bit pointless. They are starting to, which is good. The 65th Brigade is seemingly pretty much where it needs to be. Those 52 infantry squads are going to be what takes it up to full whack. It's actually in combat mode. Now, I am going to move that up into Clark Field because it can get there. The 9th Infantry still needs a bit more of a rest. So probably, you know what, actually the engineers can move up as well. So that again gives us a little bit more here in terms of dealing with what the allies have. And there's also some SNLF here as well, which again I think we'd need to use and get sent elsewhere. So what's the it's not actually a decent base there. Which is the better base here? It's Iba. Again, we can't use Manila just yet. But I'm hoping we are building Lingayen up, so might just see how that goes over the next day, and then look at maybe using some of our transport ships to send those elsewhere. You know, we've still got a lot of islands to capture in the Dutch East Indies, and we need to get a little bit of a move on with that. But elsewhere, I do think it's okay? Question mark. Not perfect, but not terrible at the moment. We'll keep an eye on things and see how they go. We hopefully get those units to Lunga and things like that, so we can start digging in. I'm going to start harassing Port Moresby so that soon we can look to deal with that. And again, we'll probably send a division down there too when we get that kind of sorted. Because again, we are going to want to try and hit that as hard as we can. Now, there is the 53rd Division here, which is landed in Camera Bay. Are we not planning on using this to do some shenanigans on the, what do you call it? So actually, we could have more divisions than I thought. So I had a theory that this was going to be... This is why I need to make sure I keep notes in the future. Because it says that this is going for Singapore. I think this would be better trying to attack Surabaja. Or Surabaja. Surabaja. XYZ, I apologize. I'm not going to pronounce it wrong. It's Surabaja. That would be better, you know, better use of it. Attacking Surabaja. Now, if we go to the fleets that are here, there is an AP that has nothing here and can, what you call it? Let's set this to amphibious. Let's set destination. I don't want to land at Surabaja, but we are going to land at Chiepue. Let us load troops. 53rd Division. Verify load. Wait, did I? No, I don't want to have troops only. Verify load. Okay. Now, let's set up a support fleet with what we've got. Kitten has decided he's going to jump up. He likes to attack the headphones. No. Let's see how things go today. Fingers crossed everything works nicely and we get some things that we want, but we will have to wait and see. Our attacks on Batavia, I mean, there's some things breaking through. Not really doing much, but they managed to get through in the night. Hopefully soon we'll be able to let them fly during the day, kind of like what we're going to be doing in Port Moresby pretty soon. That's the aircraft done during the night. Patrol boats trying to find some US subs. Nothing really happening there. Okay. And let's see if there's anything else going to happen. No, so that seems to be the night done, which is always good when the night is finished relatively quickly. Oh, there's an offshore landing. Okay, well, other than that. But yeah, when the night's done quite quickly, it's quite good because it does allow us to fly through things a little bit faster. Repairing ships, 12-hour phase, and here we go then into the day. Woo! Although I see I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of an interesting thing. So we want to try and sweep over Port Moresby to shoot down anything that the Allies have there. We've managed to sink a mine layer. Yay! Or at least hit a mine layer with a torpedo. I think it would probably sink, but we will see. Now then, I also want to see what's going to go on with the Allies here. Because I do want to see... There's a lot of Allied submarines. I do want to see what they kind of... There's a lot of float planes. I've gone to this. They have found our task forces that are moving down towards Java. Sweeps over Singapore. Facing over some Blenheims and some Buffaloes. Should be hopefully okay here. I'm just checking. Are they diving down on us? Because obviously, if that's the case, it's not very good for us, really. Yeah, it does seem like they're diving down on us. Let's go through pretty quickly. We lost 1-0 and we shot down 2 things. We were sweeping at 13,000 feet. They were scrambling at 16 to 17. Okay, well, we'll maybe go a little higher next time to try and see if we can stay on top of them and prevent that kind of them diving down on us. Because that does give them a bit of, extra damage that they can do on us. We don't want that at all. The less damage they do, the better is generally the way of going. Now we have our bombers coming in, and these are being caught by some Allied fighters. They do manage to get their bombs off. We do lose a fair amount of aircraft. That's why we're sweeping. We'll make sure we have our zeros a bit higher. Because we are whittling down the Allies there, which is good. We'll need to keep an eye on stuff. Again, a bit of a combat going on over here in the sky. Let's have a look how we did there. We lost some ANs. Nothing really great there. Ishang, good. Still good bombing raids in Ishang. And some sallies that seem to be a bit behind. Not ideal. Not too many destroyed, but it seems a bit... Getting some casualties on the... the units in Singapore. Hopefully it just stops them digging in even more. This is something we should have been doing a lot earlier. But we will see. I've also noticed that it would seem that Invictus has decided to attack Wushang. So we'll keep an eye on that. Because that is interesting. We got an Oscar here trying to... Well, a single Oscar that was trying to cause some bother. These didn't do a lot, so I'm fine with that. Okay. Now, this is not where I really wanted these guys to go. But, okay. Come on. Come on. If they're only the 60 kilo bombs. Come on. What is happening here? Okay. But again, only a 60 kilo bomb. There we go, that's better. Okay. So, it would seem that a good chunk of the kind of Abda fleet is in, what you call it? Was in Singapore. So, the Exeter, the Dorsetshire, the De Ruyter, the Emerald, Dragon Enterprise, and a couple of bombers. That is interesting. That is incredibly interesting that they were there. Now, clearly what happened was these guys were flying at their kind of max limit, which is not ideal, so they were only dropping 60 kilo bombs, so it didn't do a lot of damage. But it is interesting to know that that's where a load of Allied ships are. They were outside of Singapore. Okay, so we will kind of keep that in mind, and we need to keep that in mind for kind of what's going to happen going forward, because it would appear that something that Invictus would be kind of using those for is almost to kind of stop any invasion or prepare for any invasion of Pamlavang, in my eyes, or even Java. You know, if he knows that stuff's happening in Java, he's going to send those ships forward. So us kind of finding them and doing a little bit of damage is pretty good. We've got Betty bombers and stuff like that. There's more coming in, and there's a lot more Kates coming in this time. Now, this could be really good for us if they are going to use their torpedoes. Please, please, come on. Come on. Come on. If we can, nice. The Dragon gets hit by a torpedo. If we can do some serious damage here to a couple of these heavy cruisers, then I will be loving life. Again, 60 kilo bombs are not going to cut it. We need the torpedoes to hit. Now, obviously, the only issue, well, not the only issue, but one of the issues now we obviously do know is that Invictus is going to know that our Kilo Batai is here. He's going to know our carriers are here. I'm frustrated here. Again, bombs, 60 kilo bombs hitting it, it's not really good enough. Need those torpedoes. So according to that, the Dragon sunk. We lost like 1 Kate from that. The Enterprise is is got heavy damage. The Dragon supposedly has been sunk. Okay. 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 Have we actually had something go well for us here? That's something that's actually happened. Okay, this is our ground attacks. Yeah, well, we're Chinese troops up at Loyang. Deliberate attack at Tier 1. How did that go for us? Yeah, pretty good. Although, again, nothing really destroyed just yet. Bombardment attack at Clout Field. We'll watch, loads of people get wrecked here. Just while we're still waiting for some of our bigger guns. Again, we'll see how it goes. Okay, not too bad. That's better than normal. 76 casualties. I'll take that. And then an allied bombardment attack at Wushang. Okay. Now, again, we'll keep an eye on what we've kind of got there, because we seem to be moving troops out of Wushang, and Invictus has got a fair amount there. At the moment, there's not too much defending it, but I don't know if those troops that are moving are counting towards the attack. Because, obviously, those that are in the attack could be useful to kind of see how they get on. Or, sorry, those are on a move. We kind of stop them from moving and they go into the defense. Invictus might make a bit of a mistake and over-attack here, and hopefully fuck himself up. Okay, no, the unit has moved because it's on strap move, I'm guessing. There is a whole division here that ought to go down to Wushang to give it some support. So yeah, interesting that Invictus is attacking us here. Elsewhere, I'd say we're doing okay in China. I'm not going to be too worried about that. There's something I need to do in Bangkok and stuff in a moment. But, as I say, I'm kind of intrigued that we've managed to get some damage here. Now, let's just have a bit of a look at the state here. Now, we're out of torpedoes, which is kind of annoying, because they've used them on those attacks. It shouldn't necessarily be a problem, but it is a bit of a pain. Now, there's an airbase here. It doesn't seem to have anything in it, so what we're going to do, where's our scouts? Wait a minute. Oh, there they are. I just got a bit worried then. I was like, wait a minute, where are our scouts? So let's have a look for where another major airbase is, which is going to be Madayon. Again, kind of see if Invictus has got anything there. It seems for the most part his aircraft is based at Batavia or Surabaja. Surabaja, not to annoy XY. Now, because we're getting close, now it's time for us to set the zeros to be a bit more on sweep patrol. So it keeps them kind of ready to go, and they can soften up the enemy areas. So we will give them drop tanks. We're going to fly them at 15,000, and let's set their target location at Batavia, because that's where we think most of these are, and we'll set it for all zeros here. So they're still going to do some cap. Obviously, we do have to consider fatigue of some of these aircraft. Some of it is a little high. So actually what I might do, drop cap down to 30, put rest at 20, set for all zeros in this base. And then that should hopefully allow those zeros not to completely fall apart. We've got some in reserve, but yeah, you can see the fatigue is quite high. So we do want to make sure that some of them are at least resting. But being that we're kind of heading into an invasion, I do want them to kind of be ready to go. It's one of those things you kind of can't let them slack off, so to speak. It's too significant and too important. Okay. So something that we do need to do up here is form a new TF, air combat, and this is the Akagi, and we need to get her out of here with a few ships as well. She's generally okay. We're going to set the home port as... We're going to do it as Hong Kong first to see how she kind of gets on, and then from there move her a bit further back. The Kaga should be well on her way by now, which she is. She's doing fine. She's a bit slow, bless her, but she is doing fine by the looks of things. Let's just put them on to cruise speed so she doesn't risk damage too much. Although I do worry that it's going to take a little bit longer, but we will keep an eye on that. It should be fine. Okay, so elsewhere, we were moving some aircraft, we're moving our Betty bombers down to Rabaul. Now, something that was interesting, I didn't see much sweeping going on yesterday. Now, was that because of the what you call it? It's not. I'm kind of intrigued at that. There was no sweeping. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Again, what I also want to do here is I want to set these, keep them at rest. Let's have these doing cap, a little bit of Port Moresby searching, but mostly combat air patrol around Rabaul, just in case Invictus wants to try to attack me, because I feel like that's something that Invictus would love to do, and we don't want that to happen, do we? So, we need to make sure that we keep an eye on that and make sure we can't get away with that and frustrate me and annoy me and give us more setbacks. So they're returning back to Camera Bay. They're following up. We are going to need those, I think, soon, sooner rather than later. Now, let us move the Sabo SNLF south to try and deal with these guys, get rid of them finally, clear up southern Borneo, and then we can start thinking about, northern Borneo. We can start thinking about getting some tankers down here. So yeah, we need to kind of keep an eye on what's going on over here. We do actually have some BABs ready to fly. So they've been scouting Batavia, but I don't know how much they've kind of been getting off there. Another major airbase is like Jati, so we'll get them to sweep that as recon that as well. And again, we can see at Rangoon there's a lot of ships kind of there at the moment. Now, I think I moved them back. There's Zeros there. There's also the Tojos. A lot of Sallys there that do really need repairing, to be honest. I thought I had some more Betty bombers around. Because I'm wondering, how much has that got? It's only 2. Because what I want to do here, really, is I want to maybe bomb Singapore's port again to try and do any more damage to those units. There's some BABs down here. Let's transfer these guys down to Papan. And again, recon this time. Semarang isn't that big. Yeah, we're just kind of reconning everywhere in Java just to make sure that we know where his aircraft is. Now, what we do want to do, they should be being loaded up. I kind of realized something that we want to make sure we're doing with this. Now, these guys are a load of Claudes. These are heading down to Rabul to get repaired. Or sorry, get upgraded. Now, something we can do, and I think what I'm going to do just for the time being, while they're there, is, again, thinking about kind of getting support and stuff like that. Now, what is kind of fun is that these guys can fly fucking miles. Zeros can fly really, really far when they're using their drop tanks. So maximum range of 36 tiles. Okay. So from Rabul, 36 tiles. It's not going to make them to Makassar, but can I get to Palau? So they can get to Babladalb, and then from there, they'll be able to get to Balikpapan or Makassar, which might be slightly better for them, although we do need to repair this up. And I don't know how many aircraft we can have there. Not a lot at the moment. What have we got at Balikpapan? Well, the aviation report is fully stocked, but that's due to the Nels. But yeah, so the kind of idea there would be that we then have some fighter support, ground-based fighter support, and the moment we get a decent airfield, we can then kind of take stuff out. So what we're going to do is, these guys are fully... let's actually have a look between the two. We've got 2 here. There's 18 there. And they don't really grow much, but we've got a lot of aircraft coming. So we're going to move the Tian KUS up. So transfer to base, select on map, and then we'll fly them to Babladalb, like so. And then next turn, they can fly even further and they can support the invasion of Java. Again, it's that idea of trying to give ourselves more troops and things like that to make sure that something we end up doing is dealing with the enemy, being able to kind of protect ourselves against the enemy, because we've kind of suffered recently and rather poorly as well with enemy troops, enemy aircraft kind of following us up and destroying everything we've had, and we've not really been kind of making the most of our decent aircraft at the beginning of the game. So hopefully that will help. Now then, what we want to do here is we want to form an UTF amphibious. And let's go the ones that have the most troop transport or troop capacity. You. And let's give them some destroyer support, just in case of submarines, because you never know. Load troops. Cannot dock because of port size. That's annoying. Load troops. Now then, we want the 4th base force. Select. And we also want these guys. Verify load. And then set destination longer. So that they can then offload and we can actually get longer built up properly. So Guadalcanal can be fortified. Good. Okay. And then we can start maybe thinking about getting some stuff over there to scout out New Hebrides and Espirito Santo. Because that's somewhere we want to go soon as well. Elsewhere, let's just have a quick check on our units in Manila. Yeah, they're pretty much... no, they're not actually. I thought they were pretty much where they need to be, but they're not. These guys still aren't. They're getting a little bit better, but not great. I'm actually going to use these... Do we have any more recon aircraft in the area? I'm sure we do that I haven't... Yeah, we do. So, transfer to base. Go to Manila. And then... Don't need to recon Clarkfield. We're kind of there. Recon Panay for me. So that when I plan to drop some aircraft... some units on there, we know what's kind of going on. Can these guys fly to Manila? Yes, they can. Good. Can these guys fly to Manila? I'm sure they can, because they're Sallies, and Sallies have a decent range. Okay, cool. So they can allow us to kind of take the rest of the islands in the Philippines with airdrops, which is kind of the plan there. Okay, these guys are on transport. Now, there is a load of heavy guns here, or rather mountain guns. And obviously these would kind of be useful for Burma. So we will probably use them there, but let us disband this for the time being. So we know that there's stuff there. Form UTF, surface combat. Let's send a couple of the destroyers out though. Set home port. We can make it Kuching. We know that there's enemy destroyers in this, or enemy submarines in this area. So let's kind of make sure that we try our best to deal with those. Okay. Now, according to this, there's 5,000 troops at Batavia. They are going to get smacked by several thousand, rounds of ammunition from our, our bombardment task forces. Now, what I've just realised is there is a bit of a minimum bombard limit. So let's set 6,000, just so they're a bit out of the way. They're at 32,000. Then go to 10, so they're a bit further back. Now, what I want to do is just make sure at destination, they're standing off. We'll make them stand off by 3 hexes. They're not going to hang around for long. They're obviously going to be there to support a little bit, but they're not going to hang around for long. Okay. So radio transmissions of Banjarmasin, which would suggest there's enemy ships there. And anything in particular here? So yeah, just kind of the reported of the dragon being sunk. I mean, as I say, this is little things that we want. We want these little successes every now and then. Now, we've obviously lost a full attacker on the Kako, which is a bit of a nightmare. But Dragon is pretty decent points. They're saying the Enterprise has been sunk as well. Also saying that was sunk in Singapore. They're also saying that Java has been sunk today. I think that's a load of bollocks, really. But yeah, possibly two British cruisers, light cruisers sunk, which is pretty good. All right, so we will leave that there for the time being, with a little bit of a victory in our eyes, to be kind of happy and joyful about. Meanwhile, we obviously need to keep an eye on China. We need to make sure we hold Wushang, because we've done so well on securing the rest of the kind of major railroad in China, while we push towards Kuching and Chengdu. We need to... How long have we got before these guys have arrived at Singapore? Hopefully not long. A couple of days before they arrive at Singapore, and then we can start that significant fight. How are we doing on our industry in regards to our aircraft? We're producing plenty of lilies a day, which is good. We should be producing at least a Sally a day, but we've just got none in the pool, which is kind of annoying. Anything on the R&D? No. The Helen is coming, but no, not really. Right then. So we'll leave it there for the time being. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, remember to check out Loads Miniatures on Instagram and Facebook. And if you wish to put in an order, you can do. I will get in touch with you and let you know where we're at, because we are quite busy over here at Lowe's Miniatures. But in the new year, we should be doing some fun things, like hopefully doing some larger ship models, which, given War in the Pacific, would be very fun to do if you're interested in that. Cool. However, have a very, very good day, good weekend, good whatever you're doing, and I'll see you next time. Bye!